Over the last year, I've picked up some cheeky bits and bobs from Amazon, as you do, and some of them have been a load of crap, but some of them have genuinely made life a little bit better. So in today's video, I'm going to be breaking down my Amazon finds over the last year, and hopefully you guys can get some value out of them. None of the items in this video are sponsored in any way, but this video does have a sponsor, and that is of course Artlist. First up, we have got the Neewer, I think it's Neewer, might be newer, no one actually knows, 970 NPF battery. This thing is a 10,500 milliamp hour battery, but the good thing about it is it actually charges via USB-C. Now, all of the other NPF batteries I've ever owned haven't got USB-C, and they definitely didn't have USB-C charging. Now, for those of you that have seen my Sony Fx3 cinema rig video, you know that I said that I was looking for some new NPF batteries, and these things definitely have ticked every single box that I wanted out of a good NPF battery. So the previous NPF battery had to literally be plugged in to an NPF charger via a USB, micro USB, the worst cable in the world. So I had to bring all of this extra stuff just to charge the battery, and it took forever, mate. Sometimes it wouldn't even charge throughout an entire night when I'm on a shoot for the shoot the next day. So this thing charges super quick via the USB. I don't just use this thing for my camera rig and powering lights. I use it literally to charge my laptop sometimes when I'm on a plane or on public transport where I don't have any power. So this thing, if you're a filmmaker or just a human being who needs battery, mate, this thing's banging. £32.63 I paid for this. Cheap as chips, mate. Next up, we've got the Seagate 5TB external hard drive. Now, I'm going to touch wood before I say this, and I'm going to touch it a lot. I personally have never had any issues when it comes to hard drives. I know a lot of people have, so don't take my word for it. I don't care how you store your media, but this is how I've done it, and I've done it for years, right? I've got a ton of these things, way too many to bloody count, but these external hard drives are so good for the money. I paid 92 quid for 5 terabytes of storage. That is insanely cheap. Now, whenever Prime Day comes up or a deal, I usually just like pick up 3 or 4 of these, so I've got a ton of them, because obviously when I do projects, I am building up so much media all the time, and how it works for me is I like to do all of my editing live on my laptop, on my internal drive on the laptop. So I've got 4 terabytes of storage on my laptop. I like to do my edits on the laptop itself, so I've got a hot project on my laptop. As soon as that project is done, obviously I've got backups as well. As soon as that project is done while it's live on my laptop, I'll then move that over to my SSD drive, right? Just in case I need to dip back into it for changes or a re-edit, or I want to use that footage which is still quite hot at the time. And then once that project is done and I've got my new hot project on my laptop to move over to my SSDs, I'll move that original project over to these external hard drives, and then they just sit in storage, and then I've got all of my backups. And what I typically do is I put a bit of white camera tape on it, I'll write on it what project it's got, and then also if I've got some spare room on it, in pencil, I'll just pencil on how many gig I've got left on that drive, and then obviously I can just rub it out of my finger and put on another number when I've filled it up a bit more. So these things, for the price, mate, I think they're pretty damn good. Obviously touch a bit of wood and all. Next up, mate, one for the nerds out there. This is the Logitech MX Keys Mini. Now, I've actually got the Logitech MX Keys. I love that keyboard. It stays in my office, but the biggest issue that I had is such a first world problem, mate. I've got a studio and office that I work from on a day-to-day basis. I'm a filmmaker. I've got a video production business that I run from my office, and usually I work in my office, take my laptop home to work at night, and then all of a sudden I realised I've left my bloody MX keys in the office. So I got these, just as a present to myself, because I'm bougie and that. These things are banging, and also they're really good to travel with. So if I travel for a few days, a few weeks, and I want a decent little setup, I can now take my MX Keys Mini with me, not my big ass ones that I keep at the office. And these are basically like using the MX Master keys, but they're just a lot smaller. 80 quid, a little bit pricey depending on where you sit. I know some keyboard warrior weirdos who just love keyboards, that's cool, but I'm not one of them people, and 80 quid for a set of keys kind of feels a bit expensive. But I do love these keys, they're beautiful, super tactile, really nice to use. So yeah, one of my favourite Amazon finds. I love these MX Keys Minis. They're cute, aren't they? Next up, we've got this cheeky little top handle plate for an Fx3. Now, my original tilter top plate for my Fx3 really weren't that great, mate. First off, it hardly had anything to hold on to. Second, it made bloody well sure that the hot shoe was completely obsolete by just completely covering it, and it didn't feel balanced when I had my entire rig set up. So this cheeky little Fotga piece actually pulls the top handle forward so that the entire rig is more balanced, and it also gives you a little bit more access to your hot shoe mount. The only problem is 18 quid, mate, for a tiny little bit of metal. And from China and all. You would have thought, no offense to anyone who's from China, but like, you would have thought coming from China, a tiny little piece of metal would, you know, $5, $10, 18 quid. I feel like I got absolutely mugged off with that one. And speaking of value, when it comes to getting audio tracks for your videos, visual assets, LUTs, sound effects, voiceovers, also now AI voiceovers, AI generators, AI image generators, AI video generators, there isn't a better place to go than today's sponsor, which has been a massive support of my channel for a long time, Artlist. I feel like Artlist literally haven't taken their foot off the gas with innovation over the last couple of years with their AI tools. They've been absolutely pushing the limit, and they've got a ton of new updates, mate. They've now got Veo3 integration, so you can actually generate cinema quality videos with synced audio.
So, does that mean I can make this train fly?
Yeah, of course.
If you don't know about Veo, mate, I recommend you go and check it out because it is levels ahead of the previous video generator that we had on Artlist. You can actually make videos that genuinely look cinema quality now. And it actually listens to camera movement. So if you want to push in, it will push in. If you want to pull out, it will pull out. And voices are genuinely realistic.
And there's no risk? Nope. The license covers all your creative needs.
And the ambient sound is so impressive. Super damn easy. Life's gone a bit bonkers, mate. The amount of stuff that we can now do on the Artlist platform is exponentially accelerating. It's honestly crazy to see what they're doing. Updates every single month, it seems. So if you want to go and check out Artlist, I'll leave a link in the first line of my description. That will give you 2 months for free when you sign up for an annual subscription. And of course, Artlist, thank you ever so much for sponsoring today's video. Next up is the Polar Pro 6 to 9 stop variable ND filter. This is the Peter McKinnon edition 2, and I specifically got the 6 to 9 stop because I've already got the 2 to 5, which I use pretty much every single time I'm out shooting. But the 6 to 9 I specifically needed because I was shooting a project on a 35mm 1.2, and anyone who shoots video or photo will know that if you shoot at 1.2, the amount of light that comes into that sensor is a huge amount of light. So to cut that out so that you can get your 180-degree shutter angle is quite hard. So you do need something that's got a lot of ND. Now this thing set me back 280 quid, mate. It was not cheap. And I noticed that I was getting some darker patches up in the sky on some of my shots, and I was thinking, is my lens bloody broke, mate? But it weren't the lens, it was the ND filter. So I think because there's so much neutral density going on in a variable ND filter, it ain't quite as performative, that's a word, as the 2 to 5 stop that I've got. The 2 to 5 I cannot recommend enough, but the 6 to 9, I wasn't 100% happy with the performance of this filter. I love Polar Pro, I love their products, but the 6 to 9, I wasn't a massive fan of, especially on that 35 1.2. Hard stop ND filters are always the better option, but for run and gun stuff, variable NDs are amazing. The 2 to 5, mate, is banging. 6 to 9, not so sure. Next up, we have got a MultiTool from Honzin. Just a very, very cheap brand from Amazon because I needed a new MultiTool. If you're a filmmaker or just a general human being, mate, I really recommend having a MultiTool. I use them for so many different things. This thing was only 20 quid. I lost my last MultiTool at the airport because I was so clever. I left it in my hand luggage, mate. And I was like, I don't think you're gonna let me take a fat like 4-inch blade onto a plane and some pliers, you know, because I can do some nasty stuff with that. But this thing is banging, mate. 20 quid. It's got everything that you need. It's also got some inserts for Phillips screwdrivers and flatheads. So one of my favorite Amazon buys. 20 quid, really high quality. Love this thing. MultiTool's a MultiTool. It doesn't really matter what one you get. 99% of them are pretty damn good. Next up, mate, the biggest thing on this list, and this is the Neewer, again, the really weird but very cheap, half decent brand. 109-inch light stand. This thing is pretty heavy. When it comes to light stands, mate, you actually want something heavy because a lot of times I'm actually shooting interviews, right? I need light stands to hold my lights, to hold my backlights, sometimes also to hold sound blankets. And when you're interviewing someone and you've got clients around and that, or just people in general, or you're in like a place that's really like high value, if your light stand falls over, knocks someone out, you're in big trouble. Or if it falls over and breaks a piece of equipment or glass or something that's really expensive, you're in big trouble, mate. So getting one of these things is essential in my opinion, especially if you're doing like high-end paid work. This thing actually set me back quite a bit. They're about 120 quid. That's a lot of money. They are spring loaded, which is nice. So if you do drop your light or something like that, it's going to spring up nice and easy. It's heavy duty, so it's quite heavy. The legs come out really nice and wide, which obviously gives you more stability. It's a light stand, mate. There's nothing particularly interesting about it, but one of my favorite Amazon picks. You can get a lot cheaper ones, a lot lighter, don't go as high, but I do recommend getting yourself a nice, tall, heavy duty, high quality light stand. Now, are going to last you a hell of a long time if you look after them. So last but definitely not least, that's what I meant to say. We have got the Zero, it's a Zero brand, but it says common on it. Zero Y mini carbon tripod. Now this thing did set me back quite a few quid. You would have thought maybe this is like 150, 180 quid. No, this was like 260 quid for this tiny little carbon fibre tripod. It's one of the best 260 quids I've ever spent. One of my mates had this and I was like, mate, that tripod looks a bit sick. Can I check that out? It's tiny, fits in your backpack like you won't even notice it. Hand luggage, the lot, super light, super sturdy and goes really bloody long. It's full of sand at the moment. I don't know what I've been doing with it, but obviously it's got a ball head on it. You can flip it upside down as well. You can really take this thing like nice and wide with the legs, so you can get it really, really low if you want to. It's obviously got an Arca Swiss on the top, and honestly, one of my favorite Amazon buys of the entire year. Did set me back a few quid, but this thing is brilliant. I've been traveling with it loads. It doesn't even feel like you're traveling with a tripod. That's the nice thing about this. Super light, super compact, tiny, gets big enough to the point where, you know, you can shoot something at head height or higher. Well, for me anyway, I'm not actually that tall. For those of you that are like 7 foot, mate, you're in trouble. But yeah, it's a great little tripod, mate. One of my favorite things that I have purchased on my journey of Amazon finds. Anyway, you lot, I hope you enjoyed that cheeky little Amazon finds video. I might do a couple more of these in the years to come if you enjoyed it. If you thought it was crap, please let me know as well, because I do welcome criticised feedback. Anyway, you lot, as always, thanks so much for watching. Hit the first link in my description if you want to go and check out Artlist. And of course, mate, I'll be catching you lot in the next one, mate.